What's up, everyone, and welcome into episode number 503, where the Detroit Lions advance to 5-2 on the season in a 24-9 victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. What a game, what a performance. Dan Campbell continues to perform extremely well when it comes to primetime games. This is truly one of those games that if you look at the score, I don't think the score is as reflective of how dominant of a performance this was. And I think when you talk about dominance and when you talk about this performance, you truly have to start with this defense. And you have to give Kelvin Shepherd a ton of credit. This might be one of the best performances I've seen from a Detroit Lions defense in a long time. That's just how dominant it was, and you truly have to obviously talk about Aidan Hutchinson. Aidan Hutchinson, I thought, was great in this game. But the other guy that I thought made an immediate impact was Alim McNeil. You saw how impactful he was instantly when he got into this game. This was the first game he played since his torn ACL. It didn't even look like he tore his ACL. That's just how dominant he was. There were several times his bull rush was just absolutely pushing the center back over and over and over and over again. And there was multiple times where that made Baker Mayfield rush his throw. Like, Alim was just that dominant. And it's not only him. This was a defensive line that I thought performed extremely well overall for the Lions. They did a pretty good job on stopping the run. You only had 41 yards on the ground. Now, they obviously didn't have the main running back, but they did have Rashad White. 10 rushes for 38 yards. That's it. Longest rush was 7 yards. This defensive line in this front seven was fantastic, was absolutely blowing the Tampa Bay Bucs back, which is something that you absolutely love to see. This is going to be a defensive line that is going to be, if it stays healthy, an issue. You saw this defensive line against this Bucs team. You saw what they were able to do pressure-wise. I believe they had maybe 40 pressures. I believe 5 sacks on a game. This defense just was able to get to Baker Mayfield all night. You absolutely love to see that. This is the type of pass rush that people were wanting. And this is the type of team and defense that people have been asking for. People were asking for Brad Holmes to go out and sign a defensive end. And it sounds like there are reports that the Lions are interested in a defensive end. It sounds like that is still true. But this is a defensive line that when you have a guy like Alim McNeil, when you have a guy like DJ Reader, when you have a guy like Tyleik Williams, when you have a guy like Aidan Hutchinson, you can truly put anyone on the opposite side that you want. And this isn't even including Marcus Davenport on the other side. That's something we need to talk about. Guess who didn't play in this game? Marcus Davenport isn't healthy. Kirby Joseph didn't play in this game. Brian Branch was suspended for this game. Terrion Arnold didn't play in this game. DJ Reed was on IR. This was a really hurt secondary. And this was a secondary that I thought played incredibly well. And you have to obviously give a ton of these guys a ton of credit. And I want to really mention one guy in the secondary that I thought played outstanding. And it was a former SBSU football player, Nick Whiteside. I thought Nick Whiteside was great in this game. He played in the UFL. He is given a shot. He was great. This secondary was great. There was truly not a ton of blown coverages. This secondary was locked down for the most part. And obviously, you have Mike Evans. Wasn't 100%. Sounds like he basically broke his collarbone. So the streak of 1,000-yard seasons are officially coming to an end, which sucks because I really enjoy Mike Evans. Mike Evans is a very good wide receiver. He's very fun to watch. He's a very athletically gifted wide receiver that is really good at using his body to his advantage. Do I think they rushed him back a little bit early? Yes, I do. And when you do that, unfortunately, sometimes injuries happen to those players. And do I think the broken collarbone is a reason why it happened? No, I don't. You have players have broken collarbones every once in a while. There's a lot of players that are getting injured this year. Do I think that it could have been prevented if he didn't play? Absolutely, it would have been prevented. But it just sucks for Mike Evans. Like I said, really enjoy him. Really good football player, really good wide receiver. And obviously, he's kind of on the back half of his career as well. So hopefully he can recover from this. Hopefully he can be back next year, because it just sucks not watching Mike Evans play, especially for the Tampa Bay Bucs team. They do have Ibuka as well playing in this game. He obviously wasn't 100%. He didn't really get a ton of involvement in this game either, which is obviously a big reason why maybe Tampa Bay struggled a little bit. But even when Ibuka isn't 100%, like really the only guy for this Tampa Bay Bucs team that played well was Cade Otton. And Cade Otton needed a pretty solid second half to get his 7 receptions, 65 yards. The other guy that didn't play very well that needs to be talked about is the quote-unquote MVP frontrunner, the MVP conversation, and that's Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield did not look good in this game. He had several overthrown passes. He had an interception in this game, which you could argue maybe it was an interception, maybe it was. I feel like there's going to be a lot of Tampa Bay Bucs fans that are going to argue it wasn't. Obviously, they end up calling it on the field that it wasn't, but then after review, they said it was. So not necessarily maybe completely his fault. Obviously, wasn't the best thrown ball. Did have a touchdown throw in this game as well to Johnson. But outside of that, outside of Tez Johnson, he didn't really hit anyone, and that was just really one really nice play call by the Tampa Bay Bucs. But this defense, man, they were just great. You could see Jack Campbell was just making plays over and over and over. There was one, I believe it was a screen, that Jack Campbell ran perfectly right through. He knew it right away, made a great play. If he didn't make that play, it was probably going to be a pretty decent gain for Tampa Bay. There was several other times where you had really great plays, not from linebackers only, but secondary. I've already mentioned Nick Whiteside had a big pass breakup in the end zone. He was great. You had several other guys that had real contributions for this team defensively. Like I was saying, this is just so impressive what this defense did. And not only was it so impressive, but the crowd was impressive. The crowd was there. You could truly tell the crowd was behind these guys. And Baker Mayfield were having issues hearing the play call because of the crowd. This is a crowd that truly, when this team is this good, truly buys in and can make a huge difference. I think they absolutely made a huge difference in this game. And the Lions had some key stops. They had some opportunities where there was really close to a first down on a fourth down that, if you want to talk about a really intelligent guy, that was absolutely brilliant for Dan Campbell to challenge that call. Yes, did he quote-unquote lose the challenge? But did it force them to look at it again and he was short and he got the challenge back? Yeah. Dan Campbell has always been talked about, or always thought about, kind of being that big meathead type coach that's a big rah-rah type guy that isn't extremely smart. You can talk about that all you want in the media. I'm telling you right now, Dan Campbell is an extremely intelligent head coach. He knows a ton about football, but he's also that rah-rah head coach that truly understands what it is to be a head coach, to be a player. Dan Campbell needs to be talked more about his X's and O's, his decisions, and the ability and the trust that he has in his players. And that is not talked enough about. That challenge was absolutely brilliant. That was a big point in this game. And if that game and challenge doesn't happen, there could be a real conversation where this is a 24-16, 24-17, maybe a 24-15 type game. There's a real possibility if this defense didn't step up and make these stops when they needed to, things could get a little bit more uncomfortable. And it honestly was a little bit uncomfortable, especially coming out of the second half when Tampa went and scored a touchdown. Like, there was a real possibility that Tampa, down 14-9, could have absolutely come back. You could have had a ton of momentum completely gone, and then the Lions responded right back. And with Jahmyr Gibbs, he was absolutely spectacular. Jahmyr Gibbs absolutely deserves the game ball that he got. Like, he was great. Over 200 yards of scrimmage. Just every time he touched the ball, there was a real possibility that he was going to take it to the house. And he took one of them to the house, which he made everyone look so slow. And every single game that you see Dan Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs continue to get better and be impactful players, it brings back those tweets about draft day where it was dumb for the Lions to draft Jahmyr Gibbs 12, Dan Campbell 18. You do not do that. You do not draft running backs. You do not draft linebackers that soon. Well, guess what? Brad Holmes knows exactly what he's doing. These guys are making impactful plays. These guys are some of the best players on this team, and they were huge components of this 15-point win. That didn't even feel like 15 points. It didn't even feel like Tampa Bay had a chance after the Lions responded with a touchdown after it got down 14-9. Like, that is just how this game went. And this was a game that if you look at statistically and if you just watch, the Lions offense didn't play extremely well. I thought that Jared Goff at moments didn't look very good. He had an interception late in the first half with an opportunity for the Lions to kick a field goal. Jake Bates missed a field goal, but he also had a field goal that doinked in as well. You also can say that maybe J-Mo didn't have the best game. Amon-Ra was involved really early on. I would love to see him involved more towards the end. Sam Laporta made some plays. I would love to see David Montgomery get a few more attempts, even though that Jahmyr Gibbs had 17 attempts, 136 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously mentioned he was over 200 yards from scrimmage, 82 yards catching the ball on 3 receptions. Yes, I understand Jahmyr Gibbs is that good. He is that guy. He is that number one guy. But I would love to see more guys get involved. Now, that's really hard for this offense because there's almost too many guys on this team to get the ball to, and there's only one ball, right? Like, Amon-Ra was great this game. Jahmyr Gibbs was great in this game. Those were kind of the guys that truly stepped up. And I thought there was moments where Jared did look good. There was real opportunities there. But I also didn't think this was his best performance. He had 241 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Like I said, a really bad interception. Now, do I think there was some missed calls, especially early on in the game? Yeah, I absolutely think so. That 4th down where the Lions end up turning it over and down, it was a fade route to Isaac Tesla. I thought he got held. I thought it was a little pass interference. Obviously, they didn't call it. There was some conversations about if the Lions weren't wearing the black jerseys. Would they have called it? I don't necessarily know. I think it was a 50-50 call, probably. You see teams get away with it all the time, but you also see refs call it all the time as well. Obviously, that didn't really necessarily affect this game, so I don't really think long-term it's going to affect anything. But I think really the biggest takeaways from this game was that this offense needs to get better. I thought this offensive line had moments, and one duo that I truly want to talk more about and just how important it is to keep these two guys together is Tate Radledge and Penei Sewell. I thought those two were absolutely elite on the right side. I think there needs to be conversations about keeping those two guys at right guard and right tackle, especially in the future. Like, I understand Tate Radledge was drafted. He has the capability of being a center, but you have a real opportunity here to have a duo on the right side that could be absolutely elite for a long, long time. And we obviously know Penei Sewell is already elite. Tate Radledge is taking that next step. What's truly going to matter about this team and going forward is what is this left tackle going to look like and what is this left side of this line going to look like? Because I thought that they had some issues protecting Jared Goff on his backside. Obviously, one of those plays end up leading to a sack fumble on Jared Goff that basically it looked like the Lions were going to take at least a 2-possession lead early on in this game. Obviously, the sack completely changed things around, Defense continued to step up after that, so obviously it didn't really factor in too much to there. But I think protecting Jared Goff, I think this offensive line will continue to get better. I think Taylor Decker needs to get healthier. I don't think he's 100% healthy. I don't know how much he's going to be able to get close to that 100%. I know he's been dealing with a lot. I think there's going to be some interesting conversations to be had throughout this year with Taylor Decker. I know there's been some people putting out there that's like, hey, maybe this is Taylor Decker's last year. He's not feeling great right now. I think he's going to be completely fine for this Lions team. I think this offensive line is going to continue to be fine. This is a really good Tampa Bay defense, especially stopping the run. You obviously have the big guy in the middle that is probably one of the best run stuffers, if not the best run stuffer in Vita Vea. He's just been so dominant. He's just been so good. It's really hard to stop and block him. Like you saw several times where he was able to get in the backfield. He's just really good. He's just really big. He's going to continue to do that on any team. I'm not extremely concerned about that. I think the Lions are going to be able to run more effectively in the future because they're not going up against a Vita Vea type player. And even though it was a decent game when it comes to running the ball, a lot of it had to do with that 78-yard touchdown run that Jahmyr Gibbs went 22 miles per hour. And Jared Goff was asked a little bit about that at the press conference after the game. I believe it said he had like the fastest and second fastest game, and Jared Goff basically made the comment, and he's like, hey, I'm the third fastest, right? And everyone laughed. Absolutely love that. Now, there was a challenge towards the end of the game that Dan Campbell was asked about that obviously wasn't a great challenge. Basically, he made the comment of like I kind of know, like I thought I saw something, but I just threw out. Wasn't really a great challenge whatsoever. I kind of look at it and laugh at it. I don't think it's obviously too much of anything. Obviously, they end up losing the challenge. Doesn't cost the Lions in the future. Doesn't cost the Lions in this game as well. So not really too concerned about that, but I thought that just overall, this was a good win for the Lions. A very much-needed win. Because this could have been and could very much be the difference between being the number 1 seed and the number 2, number 3, number 4 seed in the NFC. And I think you truly made Baker Mayfield perform probably the worst he has had in a while. I think you continue to see this team get better. You're going to continue to get healthier. You're headed to the bye week now. You have real opportunities here to get a lot of these important key pieces back. And you're going 5-2 at this point going into the bye, which I think going into a bye a lot of people would be completely all right with. You didn't have a good performance week 1, which I think we obviously know that was a fluke at this point. The game against the Chiefs is the game against the Chiefs. You've beat good teams. You've been challenged. And this Lions team has stepped up. And it's now 100% healthy. They're going to get some guys back. This Lions team is going to continue to get better. This defense, I hope, continues to fly around. I'm going to be interested to see what the secondary looks like when Brian Branch is back. He's going to be elite. Kirby Joseph is going to hopefully be back. Terrion Arnold will probably be back. They'll also probably have DJ Reed back. Amik Robertson, fantastic in this game. I need to talk a little bit about him before I wrap up. He had a forced fumble in this game. Like, he's a dog. Like, he is everything that this Lions organization now under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes represents. Like, he is a guy, and I absolutely love him. He is a guy that obviously not only backs his teammates, but he's a guy that goes out there and makes plays. I truly hope that they extend him or re-sign him. He's a guy that has been extremely impactful. He's taken over that CB1 as of right now. He's just playing really, really well, and he's truly helping the secondary take that step or try and hold on until some of these starters coming back. So, Amik, really appreciate everything you've done. You're just a baller, man. It's been a lot of fun watching you play. I'm really excited to continue to watch you play. But, yeah, if you're a Lions fan, you obviously have to be pretty happy. You have to be pretty excited to see where it's been. Obviously, heading into a bye week, I won't talk about the Lions for a little while, but I was really, really happy with this win. And I think in the future, this win's going to really pay dividends for not only this Lions team, but also for the picture as a whole of trying to get to the ultimate goal, and that is winning the Super Bowl And if this Lions defense continues this way, this offense, I think, can get better. I think they should be better. There's been real conversations about John Moran. I don't think there should be too much concern as of this point. I think they're going to get things figured out. I think there's just too many pieces on this team. I think they're going to have to figure some things out. I think they'll be completely fine. But good win for the Lions. Obviously, you love seeing them win on Monday Night Football. I absolutely love seeing that. You love seeing the Lions being in this position. Really big win. And, yeah, hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, there will be more opportunities in the future. But, yeah, thank you for everyone for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe. Don't know exactly how many episodes will be exactly the Detroit Lions, but not a ton else kind of going on. I know Patrick Kane might be out for a little while for the Red Wings, which is unfortunate. He's been really good, but you have a guy in Emmett Finney continue to step up there, so hopefully he'll continue to be good there. But yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, like I said, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of stuff, and that is a wrap to episode number 503. Thank you for tuning into this episode, and make sure to tune in to the next ones.